Beneath the faith of optimism, true terror. The painting day always starts with anxiety, dread, guilt. He'd look at his walls and scan images he'd created. Archetypes first revealed in a splash or a spill. His images spoke to him, were his friends, but he was under no illusion they spoke to others. He painted. Upon sober reflection, doubt crept in. Would others see a lack of seriousness about his effort, an amateurish whimsicality, a sloppiness, a slapdash quality, a lack of cohesion, a lack of beauty? Was his painting truly awful, truly ugly? Could be. He wouldn't be the first self-deluded artist. But Marlowe would stick to his guns. He took comfort thinking of Juan Moreau, Catalan painter who combined abstract art with surrealist fantasy. At night, starving in his Paris studio, Moreau would watch creatures come alive in the stains of his ceiling, and these he would paint. On Moreau's studio door a sign, "This train makes no stops." On Marlowe's wall, Cote de Banga, handmade bespoke spooks, as if a tremor of life passed through them. For the discreet collector. Said Smitten, "An artist finds a path when all paths are closed. No door, crawl through a window. No window, knock down a wall. An artist gives no quarter. What any artist sees in the mirror is failure, frustration, inadequacy. Not enough time, not enough energy, not enough this, not enough that. Art always falls short. Art is a conjurer's trick. To perform the trick, the artist must be strong. Know this, great art stands out." From Marlowe's notebooks. I dream I'm in an old biblical city. Shiloh, Bethel, Jerusalem, the old part of the old town, where the streets are narrow and crowded. Down one of these alleys, I encounter two headless donkeys led by a shriveled beggar. The beggar asks, "Should I kill myself?" I marvel at the skeletal beasts with necks like ostriches. Where do their thoughts go? Later, near dusk, in that nether light, I round a corner met by pungent smells from a spice merchant. Thyme, mint, cumin, sumac, bay leaf, cinnamon, red pepper, orange curry powder, and then the foul stench of the beggar and the wretched beasts. The beggar repeats, "Should I kill myself?" and grabs my hand and pulls my ring. I push the beggar away with slight effort and go my way. Then I wake in the dark and instinctually touch my ring and know something is wrong. A rough edge, the gold around the bevel cracked, leaving the gem exposed. I think, "Thank you, beggar. You did me a service I did not understand." Nor was I grateful, nor was I humble. I showed no compassion, only disdain. This is how we are tested. Can we even know our sins? Can we even remember our sins? How do we transcend our sins? That day, I painted the headless dream beasts, changing them to scapegoats with no heads. Headless scapegoats in the wilderness, no longer bearing our load. Where did they bury our sins? In waking life, art show at the wharf. A stringy-haired transient with rucksack and guitar wandered in muttering, "Banksy, Banksy." Right to cheer Banksy, but marring the vibe. I think, if he has some cake, fine, a glass of wine, fine, but best he drift away, which he did to my relief. Only later, that night, did I ask myself if this vagabond kid was an angel. How big our circle of compassion? Where does dream metaphor and waking metaphor overlap? Everyone is having fun, and this kid wants to be part of it, shows a brave face. A better person would have reached out in some way. Was I being tested? Was my art being tested? How easy to scrub the unpleasing detail. How do we see the angel? In moments of uncertainty, Marlowe turned to poetry. From the 10th century Japanese poet Sugawara no Mishizani, number 161. Your married sisters have stayed at home. They've made their bed, nothing to do. So we three exiles go along together. A break in the rain, we sing. At midday, I take pleasure as you eat before me. At night, in a field or a shed, we face darkness with lamps and tapers. Struck by cold, we have our rough blankets, and we are warm enough. Under the stars, I reflect with you what I saw in the capital. Wretched orphans with no place to go. In the same street, the naked gambler, Namasuki, and the barefoot musician, known as the Justice's Miss. So sad, her withered beauty. Their fathers both held high office. Once, gold ran through their fingers like sand. Now, they haven't enough to eat. Children, come, let us huddle close and compare their lot with ours. Whatever we lack, heaven's treatment must seem kind. What is beautiful? Blaise Cendrars. Excerpt from Prose on the Trans-Siberian Railway. She is but a candid, frail flower, the poet's flower, a slight silver lily, so cold, so alone, and already so wilted that tears well up in me if I think of her heart. And this night is like 100,000 others when a train presses on in the night. The comets fall, and a man and a woman, even when young, muse in making love. Wrote Blaise Cendrars, "What are you looking for? There is no truth. There's only action. Action obeying a million different impulses. Ephemeral action. Action subjected to every possible and imaginable contingency and contradiction. Life. Life is crime, theft, jealousy, hunger, lies, disgust, stupidity, sickness, volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, piles of corpses. What can you do about it, my poor friend?" What is profound? This poem by James Tate. Jesus got up one day a little later than usual. He had been dreaming so deep there was nothing left in his head. What of it? A nightmare? Dead bodies walking all around him, eyes rolled back, skin falling off? But he wasn't afraid of that. It was a beautiful day. How about some coffee? Don't mind if I do. Take a little ride on my donkey. I love that donkey. Hell, I love everybody.